In a world of instant gratification, we often forget the raw struggle for existence that shaped our ancestors. Medieval soldiers were more than warriors. They were survivalists, thriving by mastering their environment and adapting to brutal conditions. Their survival methods, born of necessity, offer us a blueprint for resilience even today. The greatest tool for survival isn't what you carry, but what you know. Let's journey back in time to rediscover this enduring wisdom. For medieval armies, hunger was often a deadlier enemy than any foe. Soldiers relied on deep knowledge of the land, foraging for wild edibles like garlic, nettles, and sorrel. Preserved foods were essential. Hardtack, salted meats, and smoked fish kept armies moving. Fermentation turned cabbages into sauerkraut and grains into safe-to-drink beer. Storage was a daily battle against spoilage. Soldiers inspected rations and acted fast to save food. Every man was a forager, hunter, and logistics expert. They carried what they could, but survival depended on skill and adaptability. The land provided for those who knew how to ask. This connection to nature was the key to their endurance. Their discipline in food management was as vital as their skill in battle. The medieval army's survival was a testament to planning, resourcefulness, and respect for the environment. These lessons remain crucial for anyone facing the wild today. Knowledge of food, storage, and improvisation is timeless. The past teaches us: adapt, plan, and respect the land. When night fell, shelter was a matter of survival, not comfort. Medieval soldiers mastered building lean-tos from branches, leaves, and bark, choosing sites wisely to avoid wind and flooding. Insulation was key. Thick beds of leaves kept the cold ground at bay. Fire placement was strategic. A reflector wall behind the fire bounced heat into the shelter. These simple structures created warmth and security in the harshest conditions. Building shelter was a ritual that fostered focus and camaraderie. The act itself was as important as the result, providing psychological comfort. With knowledge and effort, a home could be made anywhere. The wild became a sanctuary for those who understood it. Temporary shelters were more than roofs. They were lifelines. The medieval soldier's ingenuity in shelter building is a lesson in adaptation. Even today, these skills can turn the elements from enemy to ally. Water and fire were the lifeblood of any medieval camp. Soldiers sought running water, boiling it to kill disease, or filtered it through sand and charcoal when boiling wasn't possible. Fire was warmth, safety, and morale, but also a risk if mismanaged. Small, efficient fires in pits or Dakota fire holes minimized smoke and conserved fuel. Firewood was precious, waste was unthinkable. Banking coals overnight saved effort and resources. Fire signaled, cooked and crafted, its control was a mark of survival. Water and fire management was a daily discipline, not an afterthought. Mastery of these elements meant the difference between life and death. The medieval soldier's respect for water and fire is a model for modern survivalists. These skills remain essential. Purify, conserve, and use wisely. In the wild, your allies are the elements you know how to manage. Survival is about turning necessity into advantage. A weapon was a medieval soldier's lifeline, only as reliable as its care. Rust, dirt, and neglect could mean disaster, so daily cleaning was sacred. Blades were scrubbed with sand, oiled with animal fat, and sharpened with whetstones. Wooden handles were treated with oils to prevent cracking. Bowstrings were kept dry and waxed, leather gear cleaned and conditioned. Every component, from chainmail to scabbard, demanded attention. Maintenance was a ritual, ensuring weapons and armour never failed in crisis. This culture of care extended to every tool and piece of gear. The lesson: your equipment is only as strong as your weakest link. Diligence in maintenance was as vital as skill in combat. For survivalists, this discipline is timeless. Care for your tools and they'll care for you. The medieval soldier's habits remind us preparation is protection. In survival, neglect is never an option. The land was a living map for medieval soldiers. Every hill, stream and forest held secrets. Reading terrain meant finding ambush sites, escape routes and resources. High ground offered defence. Animal trails revealed safe paths. The type of trees and plants signalled water and shelter opportunities. Weather was read in the sky, wind and animal behaviour. Rings around the moon, low-flying birds, shifting winds. Anticipating storms or seasonal changes could save an army from disaster. These skills turned the environment into an ally, not an obstacle. Modern maps are useful, but nothing replaces reading the land itself. Observation and interpretation are survival skills that never age. The wise use terrain and weather to their advantage. The medieval soldier's literacy of the land is a lesson for us all. Before modern medicine, battlefield wounds were often fatal, unless you knew how to act fast. Stopping bleeding with pressure or tourniquets, and sometimes cauterization, saved lives. Cleaning wounds with wine, vinegar or boiled water prevented deadly infection. The wild was a pharmacy. Yarrow for bleeding, moss for dressings, willow bark for pain. Poultices of herbs and bread drew out infection and soothed injuries. Splints from wood and moss immobilized broken bones. These methods, though primitive, were effective and based on sound principles. The basics, stop bleeding, clean wounds, prevent infection, immobilize, are still the foundation of first aid. Nature provided the tools. Knowledge made the difference. Medieval field medicine is a reminder resourcefulness and quick action save lives. The lessons of medieval survival are more than history. They're a blueprint for resilience today. Working with nature, not against it, was the core principle. Improvisation turned shields into shovels and helmets into pots. Patience and observation were virtues, skills honed by necessity. These ancient techniques are timeless. Find water, build shelter, make fire, tend wounds. Technology can fail, but knowledge endures. Embracing historical wisdom builds a foundation of true self-reliance. Adaptability and resourcefulness are the real survival tools. The medieval soldier's legacy is one of practical, actionable knowledge. By learning from the past, we prepare for any challenge. We are heirs to a tradition of endurance. Let's honor it. The wisdom of the past is a guide for today's challenges. Practice these ancient skills, build a shelter, identify a plant, make fire. True mastery comes from doing, not just knowing. Join us in preserving and living this knowledge. Subscribe, share, and become part of a resilient community. Let's carry this torch of wisdom forward, together.